Welcome back to Revolutionary Health, part two of the conversation between Ajmal and I regarding HIV disclosure. Once again, make sure that you follow, like, subscribe, comment in the options below. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Counter Narrative. On Twitter, we're at Building Desire. Yeah, so I just kind of want to just ask you, friend to friend, just with our if you feel comfortable enough with what we were talking about and being with disclosure as a gift.
Oh, wow. That's what I know. It's lived experience, from we were both diagnosed when we were 19. And so the amount of years um, that it took to really like be where we are now,
Mm-hmm.
I want people to know that they can be where we are now and be publicly sharing their status and proudly and being happy and with their life, not just content, but like I said earlier, thriving, because we want the best in this life, you know. Um, and so I said that to say that from 19 to now, I have had the pleasure of giving that gift to so many of my brothers. Not saying I was a hoe, but I'm a young
I'm
man.
pro ho. I'm pro liberation. Yes.
You know, I was ho-ish. There
However
were
you
ho,
define it,
there were
Joe.
ho, there were ho, there were ho eras. But I say that to say, like, basically, you have a lived life, and you are happy living that life. You are going to come across individuals that are going to need that gift. They're going to need you to step outside of your comfort zone and be courageous, because once you disclose, a lot of times it's some people's first time having a black man disclose their status to them, right? So we're unlocking a lot of, demystifying some things, debunking some things. We are taking down some of the structures that white supremacy has put up in front of us by having like unadulterated conversation, face to face, masculine energy, feminine energy. Everything is all there when you have this kind of conversation because all the walls are down. And to me, that's the gift. That's when you walk away, whether you see each other again or not, you have you have pretty much witnessed vulnerability, um, and love, especially if, when the conversations go well, or even when they don't. I think there's always a takeaway, as silver lining and everything. But I will say the gift has been just to have brothers tell me, thank you. I never had anybody really like that really just told they told me their status, so I felt comfortable enough to tell my status, or maybe just a spiritual thing where they just feel compelled to, it's time for them to evolve, because we all come to that place of evolution where we're like, well, now I want to tell two people. Now I want to tell a few, and so on and so forth. And, basically, um, I just want to encourage everybody that's watching and listening to be patient with yourself and know that when the time is right to give somebody that gift, make sure that you're doing it with the best intent. You have no motives. You have the only thing that you want to do is really pretty much be transparent, for your own sake. So it's a gift. It's a gift for yourself too. So every time I've told my status, I have felt so much lighter. I have been able to move closer to the direction of being the activist that I want to be, because I feel like it's more in line with what the mission is for for my life, is to really live that honest, and accessible kind of, experience. I definitely want to be able to, being a creative, to be able to like, bring more of what I've lived into my work. So that's why I see it as a gift. I don't see HIV as a burden. It's a gift as well. Like a lot of things that may seem hard, they are really there to bless us in the long run. You just gotta, um, go through with it and get to the other side. What they say, like, you,
Hmm.
you come reach the mountaintop, you go through the valley. You gotta pretty much, you gotta endure, and I think that's what makes these moments, like, this is a gift. If you're watching this, I think this is a gift. That counter narrative is produced. These awesome, um, moments of gems that you can carry forth into your real life.
Thank you for that. I mean, like you say, for us to be so young and sitting here now, um, and thriving, thriving and doing what we love to do and being artist at heart, and having the will to live, to carry on, to put all of this into our work, and to, like you say, give people this gift. I'm as you were talking, I'm just sitting here and thinking about that now. I'm about to be 34 next month, and it's just, I'm here. And there was a time in my life that I can honestly say, for me, that um, I never thought that I would make it to live to be 18, of having what I felt like so much against me, and then being diagnosed, and then, like, I never thought I would make it to 18, then 19, and then now 33, sitting here in the middle of a pandemic. But that gift, and as an artist, I let you know, I want to ask you this question too, because I think it's very important as we tell our own narratives, um, and how it's influenced us as artists and our work. And for me, it's created this sense of urgency in myself. I think June might have been one of the busiest months ever in my life, and my therapist told me that I need to take a break. Um, but I felt like, okay, I'm already facing, living with HIV. Now I'm facing coronavirus, the pandemic, right? And so there's so much shit creatively in my mind that I want to do. So many stories that I want to tell as an actor, as a writer, as somebody who has so many things that I want to do at one time, to feel just all over the place. But it's created this urgency, this depth in me that wants to live a full life, and live in my truth, and live all of those things, and love harder, family and friends, and leave something leave something for generations of Black boys after me to look at and find, to know about. Um, so I know you're working on, you said, work with Black bodies. And I've been watching your Instagram, and I've been watching your Facebook as you share your art with me, because I absolutely love it. I love your work. But I think it's also such an interesting take. And actually, it has been a year, because your art show was this time last year, right?
Yeah,
July of
yeah,
last year.
absolutely, absolutely.
And it was so beautiful, because it did focus on Black bodies, and protagonists, and us being the protagonists in our own narratives, and taking back that control of our bodies and our lives. And it's so beautiful. I think it ties beautiful to this conversation. But how do you feel like, even with giving folks the gift that we're giving them right now and in the past, like, how has that influenced your work and what you do?
Thank you so much, for being there. And, um, counter narrative, you know, like, I feel like that's family, for me. Um, and so to have you all support, to have everyone support, and you have been there. Just thinking about it, it's really, really brings me to the point of, gratitude that, you know, I'm one of those people. I look back and move forward. I, I believe in so many different things that were passed down through generations that have influenced my work. That's led to me to be like the person I am right now. So many of the people I've come across. So now, sitting here, I've been thinking to myself, like, my art has to speak volumes for all these moments. It has to mean something, and that's kind of what I always think about when I'm making. I always think about um, in the moment. I'm not thinking, but there's some things I'm obsessed about, and I'm obsessed about the my people. I'm obsessed about um, anything relating to my people, and my people could mean the black race, could mean the human race. More often, it really means black gay men, um, and that's what I choose to point my arrow towards, is making sure that when I leave the earth, that I um, always try to 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 be authentic, with my voice, and be responsible with how I choose to use that, and part of me being responsible was to make a decision to go to grad school, was to make a decision to have a show like Protagonist. So, when we have our gifts and the things that we feel like we are nurturing, like these are our children, we don't want to just send our children off to anywhere into the ether. We really want our children to flourish. We want our children to be in spaces where they meet other people's children.
Mhm.
We want our space, our creations to change humanity. These are the things I'm thinking about, because I think about myself as a master teacher, um, somebody that I don't have to have a title to do my work. Um, and I think the best way that you teach is by example. So the best way, whenever I want to get into the like what's going to be here when I'm not here, and what's archival, because that's something that I'm always considering, is what's going to be archived when it's all said and done. And so I want to make sure I'm leaving the best notes for the generations to come, that are visually impactful and culturally impactful, and shifts some things, because we have a lot of more work to be done. Um, and so that's kind of where I've always tried to enter my work in that space. And of course, throughout the years, I've gotten better with how to infuse and how to tell my story in the most efficient way, that doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. Um, because at the end of the day, it is about how you feel at that space and time when you're creating. It's all about my feelings. If it offends someone, then I did a great job. If it and so, I just want to tell all the creatives out there, whether you're a writer or an orator, or a whatever field, like a dad, or the list goes on. We're all creating, our reality. Basically, if you can bring all parts of you to the table with your safety intact, because you have to know when is the right time to do everything. There's a space and time.
Mhm.
Um, I want to just tell you all that whenever you're creating, leave no part of yourself out of it. I would say, if you want to be subliminal, You want to be cryptic, you can do that. Because I did that. I do that in my work sometimes. Some people, they won't get it, but it was a moment for me to be able to do what I had to do to have that moment of the gift, like where I just had to have it because someone's going to be able to figure it out. But when you do have the space and time to bring more of some things that may be darker into your work, it will help. And like I said, don't just be safe. I would say just make sure you're doing things safely. You don't want to be read the room. What they say, read the room.
Read the room.
And learn
Yeah.
and learn when it's time. So I remember when I first started, I was doing some pieces where I had one piece I remember it was called Living on the Pill, and that was one of the first times I was able to do something that literally had the word pill in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a huge thing for me. And to come from there to doing a mural a couple years back around HIV and everything on the Beltline, it was a complete 180, so never count yourself out when you first diagnosed with HIV. Never count yourself out because your voice is valid and necessary. And you too, one day you might say, you know what, I want the world to know, and then you just feel lighter. Recently I even have been doing photographs where I've been trying to show rituals, and in the process of activating these masks that I'm making from cardboard, discarded cardboard.
I don't want to interrupt you because I know your train of thought, but I just want to say, or just want to ask as well too, as we close, where can people find your art? Because I want them to be able to find it and discover it for themselves also.
I'm on IG, and my IG page is Maskman Art, and it's spelled MASMANART. And I am also on Facebook, Ajmal Millar. That's MILLAR. First name AJMAL. And also I have a website that's up and going, so maskmanart.com. I got some really cool stuff coming, guys. So as far as like lifestyle products, like socks is like the first thing that's coming. So
Come on, socks. Yes.
yeah. So you could find that at when it comes. It's not debuted yet, but so it's kind of exclusive right now. But it's going to be called themaskcamp.com. So
Thank you. I'm so excited for us to have this conversation, and I thank you so much for being here. I wouldn't have wanted to do this with anybody else. I love you from the
I
bottom
love
of
you.
my heart in Atlanta, Georgia. I love you, and I want the best for you as
Thank you.
well. So thank you so much for having this conversation. I just want everyone as well to take this in, like, share, comment, subscribe, discover art as well. And thank you so much, Counter Narrative, for allowing us to have this conversation. So follow us on our social medias always, at Instagram. Facebook and Instagram at The Counter Narrative. On Twitter, we're at Building Desire as well. And as we get out, I just want to let everyone know that we do have hoodies on sale, because I know y'all ask me that all the time, but you can find those hoodies on sale as well. But please take care of yourself, be good to yourself, and thank you again for watching.